Hi, thanks for checking out our video here. This is just a little overview, show and tell of this particular unit. This is a Gallagher M400. It's an old school unit. One of these old Gallaghers from the 80s and 90s and early 2000s were cream of the crop in my book. I mean, there wasn't much bad at all with them, and they ran them things for 20 years. And this particular one's a 2004 model. Came to us for repair. Got the customer going again. Was a pretty cheap fix. Just had to fix up the board a little bit, and the capacitor checks out good. Transformer's putting out good. So, like I said, it's a 2004 model. The serial number there at the bottom, the 04. That's the year it was built. And the third and fourth number, that 41, that's the week of that year. So this is built in the 41st week of 04. So they probably bought it sometime in 05. So 16-year-old unit, and you see it's going right along pretty good. Was a nice cheap fix. Just had some issues with the board. I got new boards here in stock, so we could have put a new board in there, but it's old school on the inside. So as long as you know how to test components and desolder and solder, know how to test electronic stuff, you can fix these old boards. Not every time. It depends on how bad they are, but typically we can do that. So we'll pull it apart and show the inside. If you ever come across these old Gallagher units, it doesn't have to be this model, but anything from 80s, 90s, 2000s, I mean, those are really, really good. Then they had new models that came out from like 05 to 15, 16, somewhere in that range. Those were pretty good. They had little issues here and there, but they kind of got their act together towards the last 6 years that those models were around. Now they got some newer ones that came out about 3 years ago, 2018, like the M360, M560. Those are good units too. Expensive, but good. So you're paying paying for the quality. But let's try to fix these old ones versus throwing them away. But there's the inside. See, the capacitor sits right there. Output transformer and the main module, circuit board, whatever Gallagher wants to call them. But these are good, basic old school units. So fixed up the board. Everything's working fine now. It's pretty slick. They even got a little lightning spark gap diverter right here. That little brassing that runs across here over to there. It kind of acts as, so if lightning comes in on the fence side, it arcs across that little gap right there, and which is the ground over to the ground side, and then if Alice fails, it arcs from there over this lightning rod, which goes over to the neutral side. Yeah, the neutral side of the AC. That's the way it's supposed to work. So they do a pretty good job. You'll open these things up every once in a while and see them, hear them arcing, or you'll see them all burnt up right there because it's been hit a time or two. So what you can do is take a pair of needle nose, and you can bend these little tabs up. I have to pull the board out, bend those up, and you can bend them and break them, or just bend them up clean between them. There's also some on the bottom as well, down inside there. It's hard to see, but down inside there's a set of tabs right there. You do the same thing. You can bend those straight, up and down, and either break them off or clean between them. That lowers the chance of it arcing across there. And then you can get yourself up and running again pretty easily. But you can replace these pieces if they got them in stock. You can't replace this whole assembly, but they're like $20 for them stupid things. So I'd rather just say the $20, bend and break them off, or bend them and clean it, whatever, both, and get that squared away. So let's put a tester across there and show you the output. I love these old Gallaghers. I wish they still made them, but they're never going to happen. Everybody's gone to digital electronics and stuff, and surface mount technology, and all that fun stuff. There's only about, Gallagher's got on their new stuff, they've got some old school electronics still on their parts, but a lot of their resistors and diodes and all this other stuff are all surface mount, put on by a robot. It's how everybody does it now, but there's still like Parmak. Some of their stuff's built by hand. We also have a wave solder machine or whatever it is that builds their boards, And like Cyclops, a lot of their units are still old school on their components and stuff. They got some digital stuff on there, but for the most part, their stuff's still pretty old school. Well, that's basically it. You know, if you got one of these old school units, send it on in here. Don't throw it away. If you send it to Gallagher, they're just gonna take a glance and like, can't fix that, and just throw it away and try to sell you a new one. I'd rather fix the old one, save the money from having to buy a new one, unless you really got to, than fix your old one and then buy a new one and have the old one or the new one as your backup. So, but yeah, we work on all brands, ages of these things. There's our address. So if you'd like to send something to us, be happy to take a look at it for you. So until next time, see you later.